Hello students, welcome to School of Mathematical Science. So today we are going to solve the questions of ISI MMath 2018 paper code PMB. Okay, so I'm writing this ISI MMath 2018 paper code PMB. Okay, so let's start with the question number 1, which says that for all values of a greater than 0, which the improper integral is defined by integration 0 to infinity sin x by x to the power alpha dx is convergent. Okay, so we have to find out the value, sorry, this is a. We have to find out the values of a for which this integral is convergent. Okay, for this so what I am going to do, so we have to find out the values of a for which integration 0 to infinity sin x by x to the power a dx is convergent. Okay, so to find the values in this kind of certain integration, you can see that there is an infinity and there is a 0, and if 1 by x has a discontinuity at x equal to 0 and sin x has discontinuity as x equal to infinity, I am saying that in extended real line it has an infinite discontinuity at infinite. Okay, so for this, first of all we need to separate this. So to separate this, what I am going to do, I am separating this integration 0 to 1 sin x by x to the power a dx plus integration 1 to infinity sin x by x to the power a dx. Okay, so I have separated this. Now this improper integration is convergent if and only both of these are convergent. So first of all we need to check the values of a for which both of these are convergent. Okay, I am starting with this integration. So integration 1 to infinity sin x by x to the power a into dx. Okay, so we have to find out the values of a for which this integration is convergent. Okay, so I can write this integration, this improper integration, as limit g tends to infinity integration 1 to g sin x by x to the power a into dx. Okay, now we have to check whether this integration is convergent or not. Okay, so for this, what I am going to do, first of all, let us discuss about this integral, integration 1 to g sin x by x to the power a into dx. Okay, first of all discuss the convergence of this integration. Okay, for this, what I am going to do, I am separating, I am taking a point which is more than g, that is I am considering a point 1 less than g less than g dash. Okay, I am considering a point g dash is greater than z. Okay, then integration 1 to g dash sin x by x to the power a minus integration g to g dash integration 1 to g. Okay, just a second, integration 1 to g sin x by x to the power a. I am starting with the modulus of this value. Okay, so this is dx, there is another dx. Okay, so I can say this is equal to integration g to g dash sin x by x to the power a dx, right? Now I can use by parts to integrate this. Okay, so I am using by parts to integrate this. So I can write this is equal to the integration of sin x is minus cos x, so minus cos x by x to the power a range from g to g dash, then minus integration, we have to differentiate this. If we differentiate this, I will get minus a x to the power minus a minus 1 into the integration of sin x is cos x, and I will get a minus, so it will be plus g to g dash into dx. Okay, so it will be equal to integration, the value of this integration remains as it is, and now I am putting the limit. If I put the limit, I can write it as cos g by g to the power alpha, g to the power a minus cos of g dash by g dash to the power a plus integration g to g dash, it will be minus a into cos x by x to the power a plus 1 into dx. Okay, so I can write this. Okay, so from this I can now, by using triangle inequality, I can write this is less than or equal to cos g by g to the power a plus cos of g dash, actually mod of cos g by g to the power a by mod of cos g dash by g dash to the power a plus a mod of integration a g to g dash cos x by x to the power a plus 1 into dx, right? So the value of cos is less or equal to 1, so I can write this 1 by g to the power a plus 1 by g dash to the power a plus, if I take modulus inside the integration, so it will be less equal to, so integration g to g dash 1 by x to the power a plus 1 into dx. So if I integrate this, I will get less or equal to 1 by g to the power a plus 1 by g dash to the power a plus, after integrating this, I will get x to the power minus a minus 1 plus 1 by minus a minus 1 plus 1. So from g to g dash, and it will be 1 by g to the power a plus 1 by g dash to the power a plus a into so it is equal to this is out and minus a cancel with a, so it will be minus of 1 by g dash minus of 1 by g dash is whole to the power a minus minus plus 1 by g is whole to the power a, right? So this is out, so I can write 1 by 2 g to the power a is tends to 0 as n tends to infinity, as g tends to infinity if a greater than 0. So this integration is convergent if the value of a is greater than 0. So this improper integral is convergent if a is greater than 0. Okay, are you getting my point? What I am saying? I am saying that after calculating this, I have shown you that this integration is convergent if a is greater than 0. Okay, so now, so this improper integral is convergent. Now if this is also convergent, now we have to find out the convergence of this integral. Okay, so let us start with this integral. So I am starting with this integration. We have to check the convergence of integration 0 to 1 sin x by x to the power a dx. I have to check the convergence of this integration. Now to check this, first of all, we know that limit x tends to 0 sin x by x is equal to 1. Okay, so I can say that limit x tends to 0 plus also sin x by x is equal to 1, let epsilon greater than 0. Greater than 0, I am choosing in particular epsilon is equal to half. If epsilon equal to half, then for chosen epsilon greater than 0, there exists a delta greater than 0 such that sin x by x minus 1 less than the value of epsilon is half for all x belongs to 0 delta, right? For all x belongs to 0 delta, x satisfying this. So I can say that 1 minus half less than sine x by x less than 1 plus half for all x belongs to 0 delta, right? So I can say that half less than sine x by x less than 3 by 2, right? So half less than sine x by x less than 3 by 2 for all x belongs to 0 delta. Okay, now I can write this integration 0 to 1 sine x by x as limit delta tends to 0 plus integration delta to 1 sine x by x. I can write this dx. Where is the dx? Okay, so I can write. Now let me choose a point. Let 0 less than delta dash less than delta. Okay, I am choosing 0. Now in this interval I am considering integration delta dash to 1 sine x by x to the power alpha x to the power a dx minus integration delta to 1 sine x by x to the power a into dx. Okay, I am starting with the modulus of this. So this is equal to integration delta to delta dash sine x by x to the power a. Sorry, this is equal to, as delta is bigger quantity, so it will be delta dash to delta. So it will be integration delta dash to delta sine x by x to the power a into dx. Now as delta dash belongs to 0 to delta, and in this range sine x by x satisfying this condition, which condition? Yeah, this condition. So I can say that this is less or equal to 3 by 2. Just a second, I'm sorry. This is less or equal to 3 by 2 integration delta dash to delta, and as we need to make sine x by x, so it will be 1 by x to the power a minus 1 dx. Okay, and again if this is 1, again I can, from 1 I can say that from 1 mod of integration delta dash to delta sine x by x to the power a dx is greater or equal to, as it is greater or equal to half, so it will be half integration delta dash to delta 1 by x to the power a minus 1 dx. So this integration is convergent if this integration is convergent. Okay, so I am saying that integration 0 to 1 sine x by x to the power alpha x to the power a is dx is convergent if and only if integration 0 to 1 by x to the power a minus 1 dx is convergent, right? Now this integration is convergent if and only if a minus 1 is less than 1, so it will be if and only if a less than 2. Now observe that the previous integral is convergent for all value of a greater than 0, and this integration is convergent for all value of a less than 2, and hence this a is also given that this a is greater than 0, so this integration is convergent if and only if a is less than 2. Okay, so that's all about this question. So let's solve the next question. Let us solve the question number 2. It is from real analysis, and the question says f such that closed interval 0 1 to r be a real valued continuous function which is differentiable on open interval 0 1 and satisfying f of 0 is equal to 0. Suppose there exists a constant c belongs to open interval 0 1 such that modulus of f dash x less or equal to c into mod of fx for all x belongs to open interval 0 1, show that f of x is equal to 0 for all x belongs to closed interval 0 1. Okay, I have to show it. For this, what I am going to do, first of all, observe that f such that closed interval 0 1 to r is continuous, as closed interval 0 1 is a closed and bounded interval, that is compact interval. I can say that f is bounded on closed interval 0 1. F is bounded on closed interval 0 1. Now as f is bounded on closed interval 0 1, then supremum fx exists. I am considering m is equal to supremum of fx, but I am choosing if as f is bounded on closed interval 0 1, then f is bounded on open interval 0 1 also, then supremum of fx on 0 1 open interval. I am choosing the supremum on 0 1 open interval. Okay, so now let me take a point. Let x belongs to open interval 0 1. Now as x belongs to open interval 0 1, I am starting with mod of fx. Now I can write this mod of fx minus 0, right? Now what is the value of 0? This value of 0 is equal to f of 0. So I can say that this is nothing but f of x minus f of 0. Okay, so the value of f of x minus f of 0. Now observe that if you differentiate, if you are going to find the integration of f dash x from a to b into dx, you can say that capital Fx is equal to small fx is the antiderivative of f dash x, as we find this derivative is equal to f dash x. So capital Fx is equal to fx is the antiderivative of f dash x. So that is, in other words, I can say that fx is the antiderivative of f dash x. So this integration by from fundamental theorem of integral calculus, I can say this integration is equal to f of b minus f of a. In other word, I can say that this is equal to this integration. So I can say this is nothing but integration a to b f dash x into dx. Are you getting my point, what I am saying? Okay. So from this, if I take the modulus inside the integration, I can say integration a to b mod of f dash x dx. Now f dash x is less or equal to c into fx. For all x belongs to open interval 0 1, I can say this is less or equals to integration a to b c into fx mod of fx into c into dx, as c is always positive, and we have chosen the value of c as 0 less than c less than 1. It is given that, so I can take c outside of this modulus. So I can say c integration a to b mod of fx into dx. Okay, oh, sorry, this is equal, so this is less equal to integration c integration a to b. The maximum value of f of x in this range from 0 to open interval 0 to 1 is m, so I can say that m into dx. So this is less or equal to c mx. Now 0 less than x less than 1, so I can say that this is strictly less than c into m, or less equal to, okay, as I am doing integration, so this is less equal to c into m, right? So now observe that mod of fx is less or equal to c into m for all x belongs to 0 1. I am taking the supremum of x belongs to 0 1 mod of fx is less or equal to c into m. So this supremum is nothing but m less or equal to c into m. So I can say that m minus c into m less or equal to 0. If I take m common, I can say that 1 minus c is less or equal to 0. Now observe that 1 minus c is always positive, as 0 less equal to c less than 1. So this quantity is less or equal to 0, and m is the supremum of non-negative quantity, then this m must be 0. So supremum of mod of fx on 0 1 is equal to 0, and hence I can say that the value of fx is equal to 0 for all x belongs to 0 1. Now f of 1 is equal to limit x tends to 1 minus f of x. The value of f of x when we choose going from the left hand side of 1 is 0, so it is equal to 0, and f of 0 is given 0. So combining this and this, I can say that fx is equal to 0 for all x belongs to close 0 close 1. So this completes the proof. Okay, so that's all about this question. So let us solve the next question. Okay, let's solve the question number 7, which says that it's again a question about a real analysis. It says that a real number x0 is said to be limit point of s subset of R if for every neighborhood of x0 contains a point of s0 is other than x0. That's the definition of usual definition of limit point. Consider the set S equal to 0 plus 1 by m plus 1 by n. Show that S contains infinitely many limit points, so that S is a compact subset of R. Find all the limit points of S. Okay, first of all, observe that we have to show S contains infinitely many limit points. So for this, what I am going to do, I am taking let k belongs to natural number. I am choosing a fixed k. Okay, then I am considering a sequence xn is equal to 1 by k plus 1 by n such that n belongs to, where n belongs to natural number. Okay, this is this sequence xn, then xn is a sequence in S. Xn is a sequence in S. Okay, sure, no doubt xn is a sequence in X. Okay, now what is the limit of xn? Limit n tends to infinity, xn is equal to 1 by k, right? So I can say that xn is there is a sequence in S such which sequence converges to 1 by k. I am writing this. There exists a sequence in S which converges to 1 by k, right? So we know that if a sequence converges to a point, then that point becomes a limit point of that set. Okay, so I can say that 1 by k is a limit point of S. Okay, so now as k belongs to n is arbitrary, so I can say that 1 by k such that k belongs to natural number is a subset of derived set of S, and hence S contains infinitely many limit points. Hence S has infinitely many limit points. Okay, S has infinitely many limit points. So we have done the first question. The second question says that show that S is compact. First of all, observe that S is bounded, and as the elements of S is either 0, if you put n and m is equal to 1, so it will be 2, and then it starts decreases. Okay, so S is bounded as 0 less than equal to S less than equal to 2 for all x belongs to S. So this S is bounded. To show S is compact, we just need to show S is closed. We know that, but from high neighborhood theorem, we know that a compact subset of S is nothing but closed and bounded. So we need to show this S is closed. So for this, what I am going to do, first of all, observe the we are going to find the limit points of S. So observe that 0 belongs to S derived set, as 1 by m plus 1 by m is a sequence in S which converges to 0. Okay, so this 0 belongs to S derived set. So I am claiming that S derived set is nothing but 0 union 1 by k such that k belongs to natural number. How can I prove that? To prove that, first of all, let me choose any sequence xn from S. Let us choose a sequence xn from S. If you choose this sequence xn from S, then what are the possibilities of x? Either xn is of the form xn is equal to 1 by n plus some 1 by m for some fixed integer m, or xn is constant, or xn is equal to 1 by n plus 1 by n, right? So these are the possibilities of n. So if you choose the sequence, if you choose any arbitrary sequence which converges to n, if you choose any arbitrary sequence xn in S, then this sequence must of the one of this form, right? So or something 1 by n plus 1 by n plus 1, whatever it is, the limit of this sequence must belongs to this set. Okay, the limit of this sequence must belongs to this set. So therefore I can say that the derived set of S is 0 union 1 by k such that k belongs to natural number. This is the derived set of S. Okay, so this set is a subset of S, and hence I can say that S is closed, and we have solved the 2 and 3 simultaneously. Okay, so that's all about our question number 7. Let us solve the question number 8.